Charlie Manuel knows a thing or two about hitting, and if hitting season hasn't arrived yet, it must be awfully close. The bats in the lineup were singing the praises of big swings and long fly balls in the series opener. The Marlins came to Philadelphia flopping around and struggling for wins, and the hosts did very little to comfort their rival, feasting on the catch of the day. The offense is starting to stir here at Citizens Bank Park. The Phillies with 10 home runs on this homestand already get set for Game 2 against the Florida Marlins. Game 1 today, and as play gets underway, the Phillies 3.5 games up over the Braves, and look where the Marlins have dipped down to 4th place in the National League East. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with Chris Wheeler. Sarge will be along in the 4th inning. Well, the Phillies offense, extra base hit-wise, Wheels, has really started to stir. And that's the good news because they're increasing their lead in the division.
A lot of extra base hits last night, Tommy. In fact, those extra base hits were flying out of the ballpark towards right and right center field. The wind was blowing out, but they were hitting them hard. Here's the first one here by Ryan Howard. This one went out the other way, and then the other ones they would pull. That really gave the Phillies a big lift in the first inning. Watch Chris Folstead, the pitcher's reaction on these home run balls. He knows they're not coming back. This one here is really good. Like, oh man, I can't believe I keep putting these pitches in the middle of the plate, and the Phillies were not missing them. Here's Jimmy Rollins. That's a 4th one off Volstad. That one's going out to deep right center field. And then Dominic Brown, he had a big night. This is his second home run. Got a little bit of a hanging splitter right there from Edward Mujica, and that took a long ride into the second deck here at Citizens Bank Park. Big night last night for the Phillies, and as Tom said, their offense has been very good on this homestand. They are 6-2 on the homestand. The batting average, not that impressive, but look after that. That's a lot of runs scored per game and extra base hits. And the thing really jumps out at you are all those walks, so they're getting a lot of men on base, and they're scoring more runs, and it's certainly something they'd like to continue.
Sounds strange, but last night was the first time since June of last year that the Phillies have had 5 home runs in one game. We'll see if it continues in Game 1 of a day-night doubleheader this afternoon here at Citizens Bank Park. Kyle Kendrick will get the baseball for the Phillies, and Eli Villanueva will make his major league debut for the Florida Marlins. It is a beautiful day here at Citizens Bank Park, and the fans are settling in for a long one. The lineup's in first pitch when we return. Phillies baseball. And that's right. This is the rain out from earlier this season. It's the first of two today, a day-night doubleheader. First pitch is scheduled for just a minute or so away from now, and then game two is tonight at 7:05. And the weather today is so much better than it was back on that April evening. Let's take a look at the Marlins starting lineup, brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at center field, Chris Coghlan. Emilio Bonifacio starts at shortstop. He'll bat second. Logan Morrison hits third, followed by Gabby Sanchez, the first baseman. Mike Stanton's in right field. He'll bat fifth. Greg Dobbs hits sixth. At the bottom third of Infante, Hayes, and Villanueva making his major league debut for the Marlins. And they'll face Phillies right-hander Kyle Kendrick, who, as a starter this year, wheels 1-2 with an ERA over 5. As a reliever, 2-2 with an ERA just over 2.
Yeah, they're just asking Kyle to go out there today and give him a chance to win the ballgame. He's pitching really well in a game the other night, and then after the rain delay, they didn't bring him back out, and that was a game the Phillies eventually lost to the Cubs in extra innings. But his numbers are good. Here's our Southwest Airlines scouting report on Kyle. Uses his sinker a lot. His fifth start of the season. Overall numbers against Florida, one record good, ERA not so hot. And it's time now for our Nissan Keys to game number 1 here. As Tom said, a beautiful afternoon for Charlie Manuel and his squad to play here. Well, they're facing a young pitcher in this first game. There'll be a recon going on. And, you know, you just try to win game 1 here, worry about game 2 later. They have a lot of decisions to make in these 3 games because of how close they are together. And they have a lot of veteran players that can't play every game, or they don't want to play every game at this point. Not the players don't, but they don't want to play them. So that, you know, the lineups have been in flux a little bit.
Well, Chris Coghlan leads it off for the Marlins, and quickly it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Coghlan.
Players would play if you put him out there, but you know, the staff and the manager, they're trying to, you know, try to get the most out of these guys that they can in this short span of time.
Coghlan, a .235 hitter with 5 homers and 22 RBI. And he hits it foul up the first base line.
Guy who's really been struggling and taken out of the leadoff spot for a while and now put up there. We have never seen this guy struggle when you think about it. He's always seemed to hit.
Well, he was dropped to 8th by Edwin Rodriguez, the manager of the Marlins, because he was really struggled against lefties and still is. But because there's a right-hander on the mound, they felt a little more comfortable with putting him back up there. Plus, Hanley Ramirez has this first game off.
Right, that's kind of what we're talking about with some of the Phillies players. In Ramirez's case, he's just off the disabled list, so they don't want him playing a doubleheader today. So they'll play him against Roy Halladay.
Ramirez enjoying some very bright sunglasses on this day. He won't play tomorrow's day game. At least that's what the Marlins said today.
He's flat out styling with those babies, huh? They're not to be noticed in. Like, here I am.
Wilson Valdez just waved him off. Here's the 2-2. Outside, a changeup. 3 balls and 2 strikes. There's Wilson. Looks like he's having a conversation with Hanley Ramirez.
They have similar shades.
That may be what the conversation's about.
Yeah, mine are better than yours, man.
Well, you need the shades today. Opposite way, that'll go foul and out of play. Coghlan was the National League Rookie of the Year a couple of seasons ago when he came up and hit .321. As that fan gets a very quick souvenir without the glove. Made a nice play. And he didn't need any shades either.
No.
And ball 4 just missed low. So Coghlan's aboard to start the ball game. Kendrick at 36 1/3 is walked now 14. That's not too shabby. But now he'll deal with Emilio Bonifacio, and we'll see if the Marlins decide to bunt Bonifacio to maybe put a runner in scoring position early.
Now you wonder if they would do that, because you look at this game today and think, well, is it going to be low scoring? Not necessarily. So would you bunt for a run in the first inning? With Bonifacio, you got to be careful though, because if he bunts, get him at first base and don't think about trying to be fancy, because he'll beat it out in a flash.
Switch hitter batting left-handed against Kendrick. And he's not showing bunt. He takes it side. 1 ball and no strikes. Bonifacio, as you saw, has hit in 6 consecutive games. He has 5 straight multi-hit games to raise his average to .285. Dane Sardina is going to deal with the running game this afternoon. 2 balls and no strikes to Bonifacio. See the turnaround for Bonifacio. Now he's played more here in June. And he's responded, hitting .313.
He's a really valuable player because they can play him all over the place.
Grounder toward first. Howard makes the play at first and a clean throw to second in time. A 3-6 double play. Turned out to be a good decision by Howard. He got the faster of the two runners first and then decided to go after Coghlan.
Yeah, and he's playing up too in case he bunts because of his speed. So he's right at the bat. It's right there. You catch it, you take a half a step, and then Jimmy gives him a nice throwing lane there on the inside part of the bag, and they get Coghlan, who, as Tom said, is certainly not the faster of the two, but there's not much he can do. How much of a jump can he get? He just take a little lead off first base and then has to go full speed.
So 2 away. Here's Logan Morrison.
That's a great way to get started when you're behind the first two hitters like that.
In the air to right field. And the Marlins are going to take the lead. Logan Morrison on the first pitch from Kyle Kendrick with 2 outs hits his 9th homer of the year.
That double play is really important. Wind, by the way, we haven't gotten around to it yet. Looks like it's going to help the ball to right and right center today. And I don't know if that one needed help because he crushed it, but it sure went a long way.
And a salute to his late father as he crosses the plate. His dad was a member of the Coast Guard, so he does that salute every time he crosses the plate.
There it is. That's just a high sinker. Kind of middle in. Boom. Long home run.
4th home run allowed by Kendrick. Here's Gabby Sanchez with 2 outs. And Sanchez rips one to left. And that's going to stay in the yard. A 1-hop off the fence. Francisco got to it quickly, and that holds Sanchez to just a single.
Yeah, that was my point about bunting for a run in the first inning. Even though they hit into a double play, you just think they're going to be runs scored here this afternoon. There should be. And you know, the Florida Marlins, one thing about them, they've been in a funk that they can swing the bats, they can hit, and they can hit the ball in the ballpark. So, you know, you always have to be aware of the fact that they can throw a big number on you.
Well, they've lost 12 of 13. In fact, last night they took an early 1-0 lead against Cole Hamels, and boy, did he settle in. So now 2 outs and a runner at first. Here's Mike Stanton, who was 1 for 4 last night, and a swing and a miss. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
Well, if they ever start hitting with runners in scoring position, they're going to get good again. But they haven't been doing that. They've had plenty of base runners, evidently, but not knocking many in.
Yeah, during this these last 11 games or 12 games, they've had 101 base runners. A little low. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Mike Stanton, home runs in the month of June. Prince Fielder's been on a tear, as is Matt Kemp.
Out of everybody on that list, and maybe this was would have been different a few years ago, but Stanton probably hits him as far as Fielder.
Oh yeah.
Pujols used to.
He's similar in Fielder that he hits him all over the place too, because Fielder hits him the other way just like this guy does. The park can't hold them.
Here's the 1-2 coming from Kendrick. Off the outside corner, 2 balls, 2 strikes.
This guy can have a pitch away from you. Think the pitcher will think he made a decent pitch. He'll hit out of the ball to right and right center. Hit out of the ballpark to right and right center.
And he got him. A sinker that was up. Stanton's down on strikes, and the Marlins are retired. 1 run on the home run by Logan Morrison. We go to the bottom of the first here in Philly.
take a look at his lineup, which looks like this. It's brought to you by Xfinity, only from Comcast. Leading it off at shortstop, Jimmy Rollins. Shane Victorino bats second. Chase Utley hits third, followed by Ryan Howard and Dominic Brown. Ben Francisco's in left field. He'll hit sixth. Wilson Valdez bats seventh. Dane Sardina does the catching. He'll be the number 8 hitter. And Kyle Kendrick's on the mound, batting ninth, and they'll face 24-year-old Florida native Eli Villanueva, who is making his major league debut. Wheels.
Yeah, that's what he did so far at AAA. New Orleans this year, 4-5 record, a 5.23 earned run average. He was the Florida Marlins minor league pitcher of the year last year. A lot of hits per innings, and he's given up quite a few home runs. He did attend Florida State, as we look at our Southwest Airlines scouting report. Throws a lot of different pitches. They say he is right around the strike zone, but nothing really exceptional. But you can look for pitches to hit off this guy because he will throw it over the plate.
Former 27th round selection by the Marlins in 2008 out of Florida State. A teammate of Buster Posey's in Florida, and a graduate of the same high school that produced Alex Rodriguez.
Yeah, and there's one in Miami and there's one in Fort Lauderdale, that high school we found out today. And he went to the one in Fort Lauderdale, and A-Rod went to the one in Miami. What, Westminster?
Yep, Westminster Academy.
Yeah. Got that from Tommy Hutton, who is, well, basically now a Florida guy, living down there for so many years. Tommy, broadcaster for the Marlins, of course.
Well, Villanueva's ahead, 1 ball and 2 strikes to Jimmy Rollins. Rollins had a big night last night. He was 2 for 5 with a couple of runs scored and a 2-run home run, his 5th of the year. Last night kind of turned around what has not been a very good homestand for Jimmy offensively. Fly ball, shallow left. Dobbs goes back. So does Bonifacio. And Bonifacio makes the catch. What away. So Rollins is retired. And that'll bring Victorino to the plate. Villanueva this year down in the minors, you saw his numbers 4 and 5 with a 5.23 ERA. His last outing, though, he didn't allow a run in 6 innings against the Memphis squad. And over his last 3 starts in the minors, his earned run average was 1.93. And there's the curve, which used to be one of his best pitches. They said that he discarded it for the most part this year.
Yeah, according to the scouting reports on him, he's going to throw more fastball, slider, cutter mix, and changeup.
There's a changeup outside, 2-0. The Lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Tara Kavanaugh of Ardmore. If the Phillies hit a home run in this afternoon's game, then Tara will win $100. So good luck to Tara.
Yeah, that money went fast last night.
Oh. Whoa. Brett Hayes just tried to throw the ball back to the mound, and he hit Victorino in the head.
Well, that's why it's good to have that helmet.
I don't think I've ever seen that before.
That'll wake you up here early in the day.
How did he do that?
Boink.
I mean, he hit him flush on the side of the helmet.
Victorino was thinking, that was a ball that just hit me, wasn't it? One from the pitcher either.
Grounder up the first base line, 2 balls and 2 strikes. If I'm Brett Hayes, I'm going to get up from my catcher's position and throw everything back to the mound.
That way you don't want to hit him again.
Eduardo Perez thought it was entertaining. I guess everybody else in the dugout. There's John Buck, who will catch game 2 with the sunglasses on. And Victorino stays alive. A lot of folks thought that maybe Buck would catch game 1 because it's a youngster out on the mound, but he has such a good rapport with Anibal Sanchez that they felt like they didn't want to disrupt that rapport, and Hayes was going to catch one of the 2 games. 3-2 the count to Victorino.
Fastball is advertised between 88 and 90. We had 91 on there. He's top 90. 90's been his high so far, and you know, trying to keep the ball around the plate, right over the top delivery too. Looks like he'd be, you know, not a guy that hides the ball from the hitter at all. They'd be able to pick him up. Reminds me of Alex Fernandez a little bit, a guy they had, Cuban defector, right-hander for them. Just the delivery and watching the way he pitches. Fernandez had really good stuff.
Line drive down the right field line, and it's going to be extra bases for Victorino. Stanton can throw, but Victorino can run, and he coasts into second with a one-out double. That's 11 hits now on the homestand for Victorino. And for the Phillies, it's their 25th extra base hit on this homestand.
Got a fastball, 3-2, and Shane put a good swing on that and hooked it into the corner. Then it died out there on the warning track. Had backspin. Stanton had to go get it. And Shane is safe at second base. Safe and secure. New York left.
Well, the Phillies now with a runner in scoring position for Chase Utley. Now this is the part of this homestand where the Phillies have been very successful. They've gotten extra base hits and they've brought guys home.
And just watching, I know he's only pitched a 2-hitter so far, but he really looks comfortable to hit off from the left side. Don't know what right-handed hitters are going to see, but from the left side, you know, they should see it pretty well.
Utley's hit in 6 consecutive games, included in that 2 hits in last night's ball game, and one of those hits, a 2-run homer.
Real quick swing there. You see Volstad's reaction. He knew that ball was out of the ballpark. And Chase has really been swinging the bat well lately.
Overall, you saw his numbers, 278 with 3 homers and 10 RBIs. There's a pretty good chance he plays in both ends of this day-night doubleheader.
Yeah, Charlie talking about the lineups before the game. Here's your home run active leaders against the Marlins, and Ryan Howard right there with 31 and Chase 24. Pat Burrell in the mix, 26 of them. Said he just wants to get through this first game, just see what happens. He has ideas for the second game, and as you said, Utley is certainly one of them.
Fouls it away to stay alive. No balls and 2 strikes to Utley.
Ideally, he would love to get into a game where he could, you know, take Utley out of the game.
Like last night.
Like last night, exactly. And Jimmy Rollins, too. But we're in the first inning, so, you know, that's just hope.
Gotta have hope, Wheels.
Gotta have hope. Look out.
Victorino's back as Bonifacio snuck in behind him.
Yeah, they put a play on there. May have just been a daylight play, or it may have been a play came from the bench through the catcher. I think it was just a shortstop breaking for the bag and a timing play between the 2 players, the pitcher and the shortstop.
No balls, 2 strikes the count to Utley here at the bottom of the first. Phillies trail at 1-0. Up and in, and it's 1-2.
Something fans can watch when they're at the game. That play, normally the infielder will just put his hand out, his gloved hand. If you're the shortstop, your bare hand, if you're the second baseman, will just go like that with his glove, and then he'll break for the bag. And he'll go to second base, and then the pitcher either throws or steps off. But what he doesn't do is throw to home plate. That's the only mistake the pitcher can make there.
Because the player would be out of position.
Oh, it'd be a big hole on that side.
Utley to left field. Logan Morrison is there. And there are 2 outs.
The change up, and you see him get out front of that. His timing is so much better right now, but you know, he knows that he got fooled on that, and the wind's going to knock the ball down to left and left center. Ryan Howard exploded on a fastball in the first inning last night, and boy, did that get out in a hurry into the first run. 2-run homer gave the Phillies a lead they never relinquished.
Howard is 3rd in the league in RBIs with 55, and he has 6 RBIs in his last 3 ball games. They do come in bunches for him. And a line drive to right field. That's a fair ball. And a run will score. Howard's going to second. It was bobbled by Stanton. It's an RBI double. It's a 1-1 game. I was looking at the first base umpire, John Tumpane, and he waited a little bit and then finally made the decision that it was a fair ball.
It certainly was. And that was good, Tom. That was a fair ball. And it was close. But as you mentioned, Ryan Howard is getting his RBIs in bunches. A lot of power hitters do that in RBI guys. And he's hot right now. Hits it right off the end of the bat, and that is a fair ball. A good call by the first base umpire. And the Phillies tie the game just like that with 2 outs. Last night they got the run. It's in the first inning with 2 outs.
So RBI number 56 for Howard. He's hit it 4 straight. And here is Dominic Brown. He also had a good night last night, 2 for 4 with 2 home runs. He's had a good homestand. He has 3 home runs and 5 runs batted in. Victorino. 3rd run scored in the last 2 days. 1-1 the count. Shane has had a very productive homestand. 11 hits and a whole assortment of runs.
Yeah, he's really contributing to Ryan Howard's RBI total.
Brown was late on that pitch and fouled it away.
Well, they got hurt with him last night with pitches out over the plate, and a lot of teams have come in here and are jamming him, trying to, not Victorino, but Dominic Brown, trying to pitch him in. So maybe after watching last night, they're going to be more inclined to come inside today.
1-2 the count to Dominic Brown with Howard at second. Rolled over on it to the right side. Sanchez, the first baseman, will take it over to the bag, and the side is retired. But the Phillies, well, they draw even on an RBI double by Ryan Howard. They get a couple hits. They leave one in scoring position. We go to the second here at Philadelphia. The All-Star ballot and enter to win a trip to the All-Star game. Compliments of Scott's. You can vote here at the ballpark up until June 30th. In fact, the ballots are all over the park here at Citizens Bank Park and all around the league. If you decided to take in a game somewhere else, sometimes the minor league facilities even have the All-Star ballots.
Right, that's the point of vote early and often.
Craig Dobbs leads it off. Dobbs having a pretty good year for the Marlins, hitting .307 with 2 homers and 21 RBIs. Former Philly, and he fouls the pitch back, and it's 0-1.
Yeah, he's gotten to play quite a bit for them at third base. They really aren't. They don't have an everyday third baseman. Wes Helms has been playing down there. Dobbs beat them a game here back in that series when the rain out occurred. It was the Friday night game. He had a 2-out hit to left field to win the game for them.
Now he's hitting only .179 here in June. But his numbers are so good because he hit .325 in April and .351 in May. But that won't help his cause. 1 away here in the second. Hey, Friday, July 22nd, the San Diego Padres come to town. It is retro night on the 22nd at 7:05. Then Saturday the 23rd is a 4:10 start. Sunday the 24th is the Pico Chase Utley Fathead Jr. That's free to all fans. It's a 4-game series. Tickets are limited, but you can go to Phillies.com and purchase those tickets today. One of those fatheads, or one of those placards you could put up on a wall of a person. Kind of neat. We have a couple of them around the house. Wheels.
I'm sure you do.
I have a big Eagles one in my oldest son's room, as Infante misses the changeup, and it's 0-2. And I know that this will bother you, but there's a Notre Dame placard in my other son's room. It was the only one available. Wheels.
Great university.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Grounder towards shortstop. Rollins to his left. He has it. Hurries the throw. 2 outs.
My school used to have a great rivalry with him, which a miss. That was so much fun every year. Penn State played Notre Dame. That was a great game. Wish they could do it again.
Well, let's get it going again, Wills.
Hey, they got something going with Pitt again yesterday, so that was kind of neat.
Plus, they have a matchup with Temple again.
Temple, evidently, they announced that today as a noon start in September, right at the link.
You going to go?
Oh, yeah. We have a game that night. It'll be fun. Doubleheader.
Oh, 2 outs for Brett Hayes. Hayes, .317 hitter this year. And off the outside corner with the first pitch.
Good job by Kyle trying to settle down here in this inning. Want to keep the ball out of the air to left, at the right and right center today if you can.
Kendrick with 19 wins here at Citizens Bank Park. That's the 5th most for the club. He's won a lot of games since he's been brought up from the minors. He's 38 major league wins.
Yeah.
10 games over 500.
38 and 28. And plugging in, they're able to plug him in here nicely in this 5th starter role. Especially with this schedule jammed the way it is this week with this makeup doubleheader. Oh, outside, said Ron Kolpa.
3-1 the count to Hayes. He's the number 8 hitter. Villanueva, the pitcher, is on deck. And a line drive base hit it to center field. So a 2-out single, 3rd hit of the day for the Marlins. Hey, don't just watch the game on TV. Get the total game experience with Comcast Sportsnet at CSNPhilly.com. Go to CSNPhilly.com to get updated stats, scores from around the league, and the latest reports from our Phillies insider, Jim Salisbury. Check out Phillies in-game live now at CSNPhilly.com. Jimmy was here today. I saw him this morning. I think he may have been wearing long sleeves today. As Villanueva takes a strike.
It's been chilly in his neighborhood when he got up this morning. Wasn't a lot of neighborhoods. Beautiful morning.
See what Villanueva did at New Orleans. He was 1 for 17. Marlins AAA affiliate.
It's one of those guys that starts in an open stance and then it gets more open as the pitch is delivered. Because he really bails.
Boy, Sardina's really working the outside part of the plate against these right-handed hitters.
Especially a guy like this, a pitcher who's pulling off because he can't reach it. The only thing he's going to reach if you throw it on the inside part of the plate. And then it's in his zone.
1-2 the count to Villanueva. And a swing and a miss. He went after a slider and the side is retired. Second strikeout for Kendrick. He leaves one. We go to the bottom of the second. The tie ball game. couch. Xfinity is the only way to watch every Phillies game in HD. It's like having a front row seat to every game. Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Follow the Phils all season long with Xfinity and Comcast Sportsnet. That looks like a very comfortable spot to sit and soak in the game.
Pretty cool.
I'm surprised. I'm sure that those folks who I don't think realized they were going to be that close to the field today. I mean, look, they're looking into the dugout thinking, what do we got going on in there?
Sarge down there yet?
No, but he may work his way down there.
Yeah, he might like to sit on that couch.
The good thing is, too, for those youngsters who are watching along with their parents, is that's right where the Fanatic is going to do his dance or his skit later on in the ball game. And, you know, they don't only get a front row seat to the game, but all of the festivities here at the yard.
Yeah, they can ask questions of the camera guys down there on how they do their job. They can learn all kinds of stuff.
All right, Eggie, get ready for questions.
Eggie will be good. He's a true mentor.
Bill Egbert is down in the third base dugout.
He's certainly experienced at that business.
He sure is. Ben Francisco leads it off, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Wheels, I think he just waved you off.
Well, not the first time. It's our boy from Monsignor Bonner, Bill Egbert.
Here's the 2-0 to Francisco. Outside 3-0. Ben did not play in last night's ball game. Villanueva has fallen behind 3-0.
First right-handed batter he's faced. I'm wondering how he would approach the right-handed batters after all the left-handed hitters. And so far, this is only one guy, but everything's away. Wonder if he would pitch inside at all.
Well, that was inside. He missed his spot, but he got a strike, and it's 3-2.
Right. That was not intentional to come in here.
All 4. The Phillies leadoff batters aboard here in the second. First walk issued by Villanueva. Wills mentioned last year he was the Marlins minor league pitcher of the year when he won 14 games in the Southern League. Had a 2.26 earned run average. He led the Southern League in innings pitched, batting average against. And he set the Marlins AA record for his ERA, which was, as we said, 2.26. Here's Wilson Valdez. Had a breaking ball outside and low.
Charlie resting Polanco in the first game, and Ibanez, and hoping he could get something out of the bottom of the order. He wanted Valdez to play third base and catch the ball because Kendrick throws a lot of ground balls. I mentioned they were going back and forth with the lineup, he and Pete McCannon this morning, and you know who they were going to try and rest in the first game, who they may play in the second game. A lot of thought went into it today. It was posted fairly late.
There's Pete to the left of Charlie.
Pete does a great job as his bench coach, and they sat in there in the office for a while. Finally came up with what we're watching right now.
There's a strike with a fastball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike to Valdez. Valdez came to the park yesterday with a very interesting look. He sometimes will dye his hair and his beard. Well, yesterday his hair was that color, the color of his goatee, but his goatee was white. But somehow it changed back to that color before the game started.
Well, Wilson's a really good guy, but you talk about somebody that marches to their own drummer. Whew. He's in Wilson's world.
Got to have folks like that from time to time.
Oh yeah, he's, as I said, he's a great guy, but you know you know how some people live their life on the merry-go-round, some people on a roller coaster. He's more a guy that takes
both.
He's outside the lines.
Yes. Low ball 3-2.
He has really fit in great here too the last 2 years with all the positions he can play and things he can do,
and because of his personality.
Hey, it's right. He has a joy for the game. He really likes being here and having. Look, when you bounce around as much as he has, you appreciate this life.
Francisco takes his lead off first. 3 balls, 2 strikes to Valdez.
They run him here.
They do. And a number foul.
The reason that I think Charlie would tell you to run him here is Wilson's a guy that does hit into a lot of double plays. Fans all know that. So, you're going to take the chance that you'll stay. If he hits a ground ball, you'll get the runner to second as opposed to a double play. And that he won't swing and miss and strike out into a double play. And this guy so far has shown that he's not a swing and miss guy, meaning the pitcher. You're not going to swing and miss at him a lot. So it'll now be swing and a miss, throw to second, double play. If they're laying all that out.
Francisco goes again. Pitch is lifted in the air to right. Stanton over toward the line. And he makes the catch right toward the line. And Francisco goes back to first, so 1 away. Valdez is retired, and that'll bring Sardina to the plate. Sardina's kind of figured out the 8-hole during his starts this year for the Phillies. In fact, over his last several games, he's 4 for 12 with 6 walks, and the 6 walks really the part that he's figured out, because the pitcher spot is due up next, and he's, there are times where the other team will work around him. It won't be here, but they will work around him just to get to the pitcher.
Sure, especially with 2 outs, they'll do it, and that helps your club because you turn your lineup over.
Swinging a miss at a high fastball, and it's 0-1. By the way, Brian Schneider seems to be on course to begin his rehab assignments for the Phillies. That's good news. He's been out for a while and he had a setback, but he's been running without any problems. He was taking some BP the other day.
Yeah, he hit here last night before the rains came.
Foul ball up near the suite level and down into the Diamond Club area. Off the end of the bat, a flare to left field. Bonifacio going out. Here comes Morrison, and he makes the grab. That ball hung up for Logan Morrison, so he was able to make the catch for the second out. Hey, follow the Phillies at the MLB.com @BAT11 app for your iPhone, iPad, Android, or BlackBerry. Get live audio, pitch-by-pitch tracking, video highlights, and more. Text @BAT to 31826 or visit Phillies.com for details. And there's also an in-stadium version of the @BAT11 app that when you come to the ballpark, you can find out different things about each ballpark, whether it be Citizens Bank Park or others around the league. And what I mean by that is you can find out what kind of food is being served, where the concession stands are located. So it's kind of a neat idea.
Yeah, with all the different foods that are served in these new ballparks.
Inside to Kendrick, 1 ball, 1 strike. I know since that's been instituted, the @BAT app, I mean, both of us have used it. I mean, it's pretty good to have not only at the ballpark, but also on the road.
Love it. Second year. I don't know if it's the second year that it's out, but it's the second year I've had it.
Yep.
And use it all the time.
It's 2-1 to Kendrick, who this year has a hit and 6 at-bats. Phillies are heading home, or heading to Seattle. I say heading home. Heading to Seattle. It's kind of a homecoming for Kendrick, who's from Mount Vernon, Washington.
And Larry Anderson.
As we've come to find out, it's going to be a very busy weekend for Larry and the Anderson clan.
Will be entertaining.
There's a strike at the knees. It's 3-2.
Guy's thrown a lot of pitches. 44 pitches, 45 pitches already, and 2 outs in the second inning. There you go. There's the breakdown.
He's pretty deliberate too. He's had 4 full counts, and with this full count, Francisco will be off and running with 2 outs. There he goes. Ball 4. The Phillies have runners on first and second. Second walk issued by Villanueva.
That's something we heard he didn't do a whole lot of. But to me, you know, at least maybe it's because he's here at the big league level. As Edwin Rodriguez, his manager, looks on, he's nibbling a lot.
Oh, with 2 away, Rollins, who flied out to short left his first time up, will get a chance with a runner in scoring position.
Got a guy at second base that wants some walk and score too, especially with 2 outs. Ben Francisco runs pretty well. Good walking lead. Jimmy hit a home run last night. Look at him get that front foot down. Just a little twist, and then foot was down, balance was perfect, popped the ball out of the ballpark.
He looked like he was limping at the end of the game yesterday too, but he was fine as he arrived at the ballpark today.
And we saw him, excuse me, Tom, we saw him smiling in the dugout last night. That was a good thing.
Jimmy was all over the national wire yesterday talking about Derek Jeter and his calf injury. As you see what the Phillies have done over the last 6 games and how the home run has helped them. And a line drive, base hit it to right field. Francisco's around third, heading for home. Stanton held the ball. Now he's got Kendrick caught. And Kyle, we better be careful. Looked like Kyle put his hand up to block that ball as Francisco crossed the plate to give the Phils a 2-1 lead. Did you see that?
Yeah, that was a reaction because he thought it was coming right at him. And as you say, when you think about it, you go, oh no, that's not a good idea.
Oh, it's not like hockey where they could grab the puck and bring it down.
Yeah, and you have a glove. Here it is, Jimmy, with a nice swing there, a line drive base hit. Stanton comes charging. He really doesn't have a play, and then he thinks Kendrick's going to third, and well, you can sort of see it with Thomas. You can see it here.
Well, wasn't it anywhere near as close as it looked from back here?
I guess it looked close to Kendrick. That's why he put the hand up in the air.
Already St. Clair has got out to the mound to talk to Villanueva with the Phillies up 2-1.
Sometimes they want the base runner to go to third there, so the guy will throw to third, make sure the run scores. In that case, whether he did it on his own or, you know, and had that knowledge as a base runner, or he just stopped, we don't know. But there was no sense in going to third on that play because that run was going to score easily. You didn't have to run into an out to allow it to score.
This is where you'd love to have a microphone down in the field that a player could pick up and you can ask them, so what were you thinking there?
Thinking it was going to hit me in the head. I guess. At least he put his left hand up.
That's true. Victorino takes outside. 1 ball, no strikes.
Another good sign for the Phillies is they're starting to score some runs with 2 outs. And both runs in this game with 2 outs. Bottom of the order. Walk the pitcher. Make him pay for it. And they have. Like we said, this guy just looks really nice to hit off for left-handed hitters.
Victorino looked like he was taking all the way. It's 2-1. We had it. It was right there.
I had my chance. I did not get it, but look how happy it made somebody else.
That is a great shot. Somebody's day is absolutely made. Inside, 3-2 to Victorino. So Kendrick and Rollins be off and running on this pitch.
Another deep count.
It's 5 full counts in the first 2 innings for Villanueva.
Yeah, that certainly is something they did not expect from this guy today, from the reports, that he would be a deep count guy. To me, reading the reports, it looked like he'd be more of a contact pitcher.
There go the runners. And there's a liner that Victorino was out in front of. And it was pinballing all around the stands.
That was a fastball, too. Way out in front of the fastball. Of course, it was in on him. Shane nailed one his first time up to right field.
Runners go again. And a line drive down the right field line, foul. That hurt some fingertips down there. That ball took a hop toward the stands, and the gentleman put his hand out, and it skipped right off his hand.
Al Kenner's doing an awful lot of running out there. Thankfully, it's not smoking hot here today. But there's a good thing involved in this, is that it is 3-2, and he's running on the pitch. Here's the ball right there, way foul. That guy reaches out. Ow! Not only didn't he get the ball, but my hands are stinging. The other guy, he almost flipped.
Runners go again, and a swing and a miss. Ball was in the dirt. Hayes will step out in front, give himself an angle, and the side is retired. Well, pretty good changeup by Villanueva. The Phillies do get a run. Somebody gets a free base ball as we go to the top of the 3rd here at Philly. Quiz. Log on to Phillies.com. Go to the fan section for all the information. And Wheels, please submit your answer, your first one, on the subject line. The question is, name the Marlin that the Phillies received in exchange for Darren Dault in 1997. You have an idea on that one?
Yeah.
Just so you know, I thought this guy was going to be a bona fide everyday player.
Yeah.
When I saw him in the minor leagues.
I remember, but I get a few innings to come up with that name.
Well, the answer will be revealed in the 7th inning. A little day baseball. Dad and daughter getting a chance to enjoy the day here at the yard. Friends stepping away from work. That's good anytime. Day game, night game. By the way, we saw that vendor last night that had the beer case over his shoulders like a backpack. Apparently, that's something he brought to the ballpark himself. Make his life a little easier to sell some of the adult beverages around the yard.
Kind of looked like one of those jet packs.
It's very smart.
Yeah. Anything can make your life easier, smart.
Chris Coughlin leads it off. He walked his first time up. Kendrick has a lead to work with as we start the 3rd. And a line drive caught by Ryan Howard right in the palm of his glove.
Well, that you'd like to see Kyle Kendrick do, not throw BBs like that, but pound the strike zone and don't nibble like his counterpart is. And, you know, trust your fielders, try and get some outs. And if you can keep the ball out of the air to right center, that would be a real good idea.
Emilio Bonifacio bounced into a double play. 3-6 double play is only time up. And a strike at the knees. It's 0-1. A lot of folks have talked to Kyle Kendrick about Vance Worley and vice versa. They seem to be attached at the hip, or at least in the conversation, since Joe Blanton's been put on the disabled list. Phillies need a starting pitcher for this Saturday. Now, all signs point to Vance Worley starting this Saturday. He last pitched on Monday for Lehigh Valley. Charlie Manuel has not confirmed that. Rich Doobie has not confirmed that. And Worley's pitched very well down at Lehigh Valley since his demotion. As Bonifacio hits it to center. Victorino goes back on it, and he makes the catch. And there are 2 outs.
Well, Kyle Kendrick certainly likes to start. He likes his role as a starter, but ideally he would be their long man in the bullpen. And they don't have a true long man right now.
Yeah, and he was asked about that, and he said, well, I'm just going to go out there and start games until they tell me I'm not starting. And it's the right answer. You know, you think about what he's done against some of these teams in the National League East, like the Marlins. You know, he's pitched well against the Braves during his career, and as you see there, against the Marlins.
Never going to be a guy cause you trouble. Nope. You know, Kyle is one of those guys that will fit in. He'll accept his role. He may not like it, but he's never going to stir things up and make remarks and that sort of stuff. And as I said, he's a very valuable guy on this team because you can plug him in as that long man. And there have been instances where he would have come in very handy as a long man, since he hasn't been able to be in that role.
Well, he hasn't even now. 1 ball and 1 strike to Logan Morrison. Worley, by the way, just to round up his numbers, since he was sent down to AAA, he's made 3 starts. He's 2-0 with a 1.42 earned run average. Ground to right side to his left, Chase Utley. He has it in short right, and the side is retired. So the first ground out of the inning results in the final out for Kendrick. He retires the fish in order as we go to the bottom of the 3rd. Southwest Airlines new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. By WB Mason, who but WB Mason for amazingly low office product prices. And by AT&T, the nation's fastest mobile broadband network. Oh, I hope you're enjoying this day wherever you are, because it is absolutely gorgeous out. And if you have some time later on, come out to the night game. It starts at 7:05, and it's a great pitching matchup. Roy Halladay against Sanchez. I think Chase Utley may have just been hit by that pitch. He's pointing to his foot. Oh, there we go. That was kind of interesting because Ron Culpa listened to Utley and then decided to send him to first, and I guess he's going on the honor system there.
Well, and look what happened with the baseball where it went. You know, it obviously deflected to the left, and Buck didn't catch it, so how'd it get over there? It hit him on the foot. Let's see right here. Boink. Well, it hit somebody's shoe. Maybe it hit Culpa's.
It did hit Culpa.
And did he sell that?
He may have. When it first went past him, I thought it hit him.
Well, it was obvious it hit somebody's foot because it didn't hit the catcher's glove and it trickled off to the left. So something happened.
So a runner at first. Here's Howard, who doubled home the first run for the Phillies. And he takes low it in. 1 ball and no strikes.
Overshift for Ryan Howard. But of course the second baseman will not be in the outfield with a runner at first base, so he does have a little more room to get a hit if he can hit it over their heads. The thing that really makes you think that did hit Chase Utley somehow is catcher Hayes. He didn't
say anything.
No.
Yeah. And he has the best view of it.
Right. And he knows it didn't hit his foot. And it would have made a real sound if it hit at the umpire's foot, because those shoes that they have those metal plates in them.
2-1 the count to Howard. Inside, 3 balls and 1 strike. Howard on this homestand has 8 hits and 28 at bats, but most of his damage has come over the last few ball games. Dominic Brown waits on deck. That pitch cut at the last moment, and it's 3-2. By the way, we see that that today's ball game is available in Spanish. We also neglected yesterday to send best wishes out to Danny Martinez, who is recovering in a local or recovering at home now. He was in the hospital for a couple of days. Hope Danny's feeling better, and we look forward to seeing him here at the Yard when the Phillies come off this road trip.
And he's a big part of our Spanish broadcast team right there. Baseball 1480 AM.
There's Ricky Ricardo and Bill Kulick, who are manning the microphone.
That's Ricky.
Yeah.
That's Bill.
You always know Ricky because he always has the sunglasses on his head. Not on, just on his head.
He has some style to him. There they are. And the shades.
Yep.
I said, man, they're talking about us.
Got to be careful because now Ricky's going to put makeup on and everything if he knows he's on TV. There's ball 4. Howard's aboard. Runners on first and second.
We talking about pitching away from the bat. That looked like a 3-2 changeup. Wasn't even close. So a hit batter and a walk in this inning on a 3-2 changeup. You know, you can understand, I guess he didn't want to go anywhere near Ryan Howard with a fastball, but that's what my point about why I think this guy looks so nice to hit off if you're a left-handed hitter, because he doesn't have that fader to throw, that changeup or a fastball to get in on a left-handed hitter.
So now runners on first and second with nobody out here in the third. Here's Dominic Brown. And he takes outside. That's the changeup, and it certainly isn't fading down and away from a left-handed hitter.
No, that's a weapon you really have to have if you don't have a great fastball as a right-handed pitcher. You have to have something that you can get left-handed hitters out, change their eye level, and he doesn't have a real good changeup. He's really pitching away from the bat, too.
A little creativity. A friend of the Fanatic. I wonder if the Fanatic realizes it yet.
Oh boy. Look out. Got a long day ahead of him.
I think the Fanatic has finally realized it. Long day, he might need some help.
Hey, where'd you get in town? That was a ride over from the Galapagos. Is that where he's from?
Grounder up the first base line. Gabby Sanchez has one play. That's the first. The runners move up to second and third. So with one out, Utley's over at third. Howard's at second. And here's Ben Francisco. I think that took some time to put that costume together.
It's a pretty good one.
And we're not talking going out to the store and buying any of that fur or anything like that. We're talking about buying all the parts and putting it all together.
Real good job.
I'm not really sure where the Fanatic's taking the little Fanatic. Oh, look at that, to an open seat. They're going to walk Ben Francisco intentionally. That ball nearly went over the plate. And that'll be the fourth walk issued by Villanueva today.
Reminds you, this time of the year, I know where I live, there's a lot of Canadian geese, and you see the mom and the pop walking along with the, teaching the little ones how to do things. Well, it's a little mentoring going on right there, teaching how to be a Fanatic.
Right. The slow clap.
Yeah, all that stuff.
The cut in front of people to get to a spot.
It's real important when you're impressionable as a child there.
So Francisco's aboard. The bases are now loaded. And here's Wilson Valdez.
Valdez does hit into a lot of double plays, so that's a very good percentage move right there by the Florida Marlins. The flip side of it is this guy's having a lot of trouble throwing strikes, and he might walk somebody else. Well, you can understand why Edwin Rodriguez would walk Francisco there. You know, they're only down by a run here real early in this game. They're trying to stay out of a potential big inning.
Valdez has hit it to 6 double plays this year. And he takes a whack at a high curveball and he fouls it away. It's 0-1. Well, despite all the success by the heart of the order over the last few days, Valdez still leads the team in average with runners in scoring position.
There's no need to panic here for Wilson Valdez. This guy doesn't have anything to put you away necessarily. And, you know, if you'll come into the strike zone, you have a chance to hit a ball hard.
1 ball, 1 strike to count to Valdez. In the air to left center field. Morrison on the run into the alley. So is Coghlan, and they missed it. And that one's rolling around the warning track. Utley scores. Here comes Howard. Francisco right behind him. And Valdez slides in safely. He swept the bases clean.
And the outfielders are banged up a little bit out there as they flipped it. But that was the point I was trying to make. If he would just be patient, you know, this guy has not shown the ability to throw the ball by anybody, and he might get a pitch to hit, and he did. And he hit it in a perfect spot. The outfielders ran together, and they cleared the bases on it. Big hit for Wilson.
And it's 5-1 Phillies.
Here it comes. It's a hanging breaking ball, and he nails it into the gap. Now, here come the 2 outfielders together. Morrison and Coghlan, and neither one of them could get there. Morrison the closest to it. Then when he misses it, they trip each other. So as a result, Wilson gets all the way to third, and they clear the bases. Big hit for him.
So they scored a triple. It's a 3-run triple for Valdez. 5-1 Phillies. Sardina's the hitter, and he takes outside. 1 ball and no strikes. The infield is in. I'll tell you, that ball off the bat of Valdez really carried into the gap in left center.
I think you're going to have one of those days where the ball in the air is really going to carry. 2 walks and a hit batter, and they're all in the dugout.
Sardina pops it up foul behind the plate and out of play. 1 ball and 1 strike.
That's the way to make him pay.
Be nice to get that other run in from third right here. If you're Sardina, even with a fly ball.
Yeah, he can hit the ball in the air too. Sardina's shown that he can hit fly balls, and that's what he's trying to do right now. This guy is, you know, I'm not saying he can't strike you out, but he's not a strikeout pitcher. He has shown that anyway.
The other part of it is that the Marlins have said how much they love his composure, and not that he's unraveled at all, but his body language is a little different now than it was early on in the game.
Well, he's sure pitching away from the bat. 80 pitches already, and we're not even through the third inning. 4 of them intentional, but still. There you go. Intentional walks count in the pitch count.
Three balls, 1 strike to count to Sardina. Outside, ball 4, and the Phillies have first and third with 1 out. 5th walk issued by Villanueva. Randy St. Clair going out to the mound. Now nobody's warming up, even though they have a boatload of pitchers out in the pen.
They have 3 extra men today for this game. I don't ever remember seeing a game where you had 3 extra men on the bench, and of course one's a catcher.
Hey, don't forget Father's Day is right around the corner, and the Majestic Clubhouse store is your home for all Phillies Father's Day gifts. Enjoy a great selection of ties, Hawaiian shirts, golf accessories, and of course the coffee table book, Phillies, an extraordinary tradition. The Majestic Clubhouse store at Citizens Bank Park, open daily from 10 until 6. There's the tie we're talking about, or one of them. That's a great t-shirt. Best Father's Day ever. A remote, a barbecue, and the Fightin' Phils.
Nice.
We were wearing one of those Hawaiian shirts this past Sunday.
Yeah.
That are available at the store.
That was a nice shirt.
Here's Kendrick, who squares and takes a pitch low.
They're going to do this because Jimmy Rollins is swinging the bat really well right now. So they're going to give up an out with Kendrick to bunt the runner to second, hopefully, and then give Jimmy a shot with 2 outs and knock in runs.
Valdez was going down the line as far as Dobbs was going, at least initially, and then he stopped.
That's what you should do. The only fear you'd have, the shortstop sneaks in behind some, where the ball's bunted, all those things. But basically, you want to follow the guy down the line.
Throw over to first. Oh boy, that ball almost got away from Gabby Sanchez.
Kendrick had trouble bunting the other night. He wasn't able to get the bunt out. Now, see, you just follow the third baseman, follow him.
That's pretty good.
Yeah. There's nobody behind you. The odds are they're not putting a rotation play on as Kendrick took a strike there. So a lot of things can happen, if you're that far down the line, if the ball's bunted fair. I've seen a third baseman actually field a bunt sometimes and sense the runner there, freeze, and all of a sudden you have the bases loaded.
Kendrick squares again, and he bunts that one foul. He was really bunting with some self-defense, but he's down on strikes, and there are 2 away. Two outs. Here's Rollins, who's 1 for 2 with an RBI. Inside corner with a fastball, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. This is why the Phillies have had some success, why they've won 4 straight. They've put together a lot of good numbers offensively. That's one of them right there.
Time you can do that, you really have a chance to win games.
In the air to right field, towering shot. Stanton going back. That one is gone. Another home run for J-Roll. A 3-run shot, and the Phillies have busted this baby wide open. It's an 8-1 ball game.
Yeah, and that's what Charlie was trying to get Kendrick to bunt there, to give Jimmy Rollins a chance to maybe knock in a couple. Well, He got that thing up in the wind and it just kept going. The wind's really going to help the ball in this area of the ballpark today. It was a fastball. He'd seen him 3 times. Got a good swing at it. Foot was down. Good balance. And in this ballpark with the wind blowing, that's a home run.
And Tara Kavanaugh of Ardmore, you just won $100 courtesy of Jimmy Rollins in the McDonald's home run jackpot.
Now, a long way to go in this game, but it is 8-1, as Tom said. They busted it open. One of the things they were talking about this morning was they hoped they could get a lead and rest some guys in this game. And now they, like I said, there's a long way to go in this. But it has the makings of that kind of game where they can do it. Sometimes you draw it up and it works.
How about 4 RBIs for Rollins in this game? 6 in the last 2.
Yeah, that's pretty nice out of the leadoff spot.
Here comes the 0-2 pitch to Victorino. Fouls it away. Pepper in the Hall of Fame club. Had a couple of really good catches.
I made a great catch in the front row. And Jimmy's saying, yeah, I know what's going on with this guy.
To the right side, Infante charges and moves to his left, makes the play, and the side is retired. But the Phillies batted around here in the 3rd. Not only did they get a 3-run triple from Wilson Valdez, that was pretty important. But then they got a 3-run homer by Jimmy Rollins. Here's Valdez's bases clearing triple to the wall in left center. That scored Utley. That scored Ryan Howard. It scored Ben Francisco. Now Jimmy Rollins puts the topper on the inning. A 3-run bomb, and the Phils lead it 8-1. Avery shipping labels that never jam or smudge. Who but W.B. Mason? Well, this has turned out to be a very productive first 3 innings for the Phillies. They lead it 8-1. Kyle Kendrick has a 7-run lead to work with. As we start the 4th, he'll face Gabby Sanchez, Mike Stanton, and Greg Dobbs, 4, 5, and 6 for the Marlins. And he delivers one high. It's 1 ball, no strikes. I don't know if the Phillies could have laid this game out any better, at least through the first 3, particularly with the night portion of the day-night doubleheader still to come. Over to 3rd, big hop for Valdez, 1 away.
Yeah, it's interesting that every time, or just not every single time, but a lot, when Charlie puts in different players in a particular position, more than not, these guys come up with some pretty big hits. I mean, from last year even. That triple by Valdez, huge hit. Takes a lot of pressure off of the whole team.
Here's Mike Stanton. He struck out his first time up. And he hits one foul behind the plate. It's 0-1. Well, I guess this is an understatement, but every good team needs to be able to pluck some guys off the bench every once in a while.
Well, it takes the whole team, and if you ask them to go up to pinch hit at times, you got to let them play.
Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike to Stanton.
Well, it's just a matter of time before this kid here starts to hit for a high average. He's going to get a little bit closer to the plate. Once he starts that, I mean, he is just so strong.
Off the end of the bat, Howard, another ground ball, 3 in a row. And there are 2 outs here in the 4th. Well, Sarge, we always say that when there's a big lead for the starting pitcher like Kyle Kendrick, throw strikes. Just throw strikes.
And he's doing a good job. They're off balance. He's getting ground balls. When Kyle gets ground balls, he's at his best.
Well, and I know there's been a lot of talk about whether Kyle will stay in the rotation as we move forward in this season. But if he can keep doing his job, then Charlie Manuel's going to keep on running him out there.
Well, some kind of way he figures out a way to win. I mean, when you look at him, it may not be pretty, but results count.
Well, and those results have fostered some ground balls over the last few batters, which is when he's at his best. In fact, he has 3 straight ground ball outs as Dobbs digs in. Dobbs is grounded out to second. 0 for 1. Give you a little look at our vantage point with that shot. That is the camera that's in our booth. And we have a great view of what's going on here at the ballpark, from pitcher to catcher, then all the way around. One of the best parts about this view is seeing inside and outside with a lot of the pitches. Brian Sanchez warming up in the pen for the Marlins. Inside, 3 balls and 1 strike to Dobbs. In the air to right field. Here comes Dominic Brown, and it's off his glove. That ball was spinning, and he was taking a very odd route to it. And Dobbs is aboard. And we'll see how they score that one. That's a ball he should have caught.
Yeah, I think that would be an error. And again, when you're coming in to catch those balls for you youngsters out there, you got to use that one hand. I thought he tried to use 2 hands there. You don't get as much extension. Now he's coming in. See how he has both hands there. If you can go out and turn your glove the other way, for me, on that one, might be a little bit easier, although it did get right into his webbing, just didn't stick in there.
Well, it is an error charge to Brown, his 2nd of the year. Little cue shot toward first. That turns out to be a foul ball. And it's 0-1 to Omar Infante.
No, he actually looked like he did have the one hand on it, but he didn't have good balance on that. Might have fooled him. Might have been a little bit of a knuckleball that was coming out there. But I think, too, again, if you could have the glove turned the opposite way, might have had a better chance to catch that. Wasn't hit very hard, but it was sinking.
With the palm open.
With the palm open is right.
He'll get another chance. This one not as deep. In fact, Utley's going to take that chance away, and he makes the grab in fair territory. And the side is retired. Palm open, glove out. And Dobbs is left over at first. So we played 3.5. Phillies hanging on to a 7-run lead. See your local Chevy dealer. Visit ChevyDealer.com. By Citizens Bank, we're for homes. Talk to us today about how we can help guide you to the loan that's right for you. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it. Well, the Marlins have to dip into their bullpen as we go to the bottom of the fourth. And former Philly Brian Sanchez will take over for Eli Villanueva, who goes 3 innings, allows 5 hits and 8 runs. He walked 5, hit 1 batter, struck out 2 in his major league debut.
Now, and as a manager, the last thing you want to do is go to the bullpen early on a doubleheader.
Sanchez in 21 game starts, 3-1 with a 2.16 earned run average. He's done a very nice job since leaving the Phillies, first with the Nationals, now with the Marlins. In fact, he's really stepped it up, and you know, it is a great day for fishing.
Well, you have that boat at home. I mean, I guess you could go on and get your bait, go out and catch whatever you can.
I'd rather do my fishing today here at the ballpark.
Well, there's nothing wrong with that.
Sanchez will face Chase Utley, Ryan Howard, and Dominic Brown. 3, 4, and 5 for the Phillies. 8-1 Phils. Chase was hit by pitches last time up, which was the 3rd, and that started the 6-run rally. Oh, he's only had 2 hits in that inning. And those 2 hits were both extra base hits. The home run by Rollins, the triple by Valdez. That's 4 extra base hits in the game.
Yeah, but again, too, it kind of gives you an indication of what kind of trouble a pitcher can get in by walking batters.
It's that constant pressure that you talk about.
Well, this is pressure, and with his debut, we had a full house here playing the Philadelphia Phillies.
Utley's down on strikes, and there's 1 away here in the 4th. So that was the splitter from Sanchez. That's his best pitch.
That was a pretty good pitch. Had a lot of movement to it. No, these are games once you start off and you're scoring runs, you really want to concentrate, really give yourself a chance to either get a walk or hit. No, just don't want to give up any at-bats, especially if the score gets out of hand, and just keep doing what you're doing.
Ryan Howard had a ribby in his first at-bat. He had an RBI double. Fly ball, shallow left, long run for Morrison. Dobbs is there, and Dobbs makes the catch. Hey, tonight at 5, Michael Barkann, Philly's top sports writers, are talking to Ricky Vitalico from the Xfinity couch, and the Unions, well, Danny Nwanga. Plus, we'll go live from Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Watch AT&T Presents Daily News Live tonight at 5, only on Comcast Sportsnet. There's the Xfinity couch, Sarge. Going to be here at the ballpark today and also tonight for the night portion of the day-night doubleheader.
Ricky and Danny who?
Ricky Vitalico and Danny Nwanga. Okay. You can join them down there. I'm sure there's room.
I got to tell you, though, it looked pretty comfortable.
Want to know the count to Dominic Brown, and it's 2 balls and no strikes. Three 3-0 the count. Well, there's Ben Davis, who's doing some work for Comcast on the post-game show. Malvern Prep Zone, former big leaguer. He was a very tall catcher, Sarge. And a strike to Dominic Brown. It's 3-1. He also made the transition to the mound at the end of his career. Not an easy thing to do.
No, not at all. you got to have at least one good pitch, either sinker or off-speed pitch, cutter inside. Getting a lot smarter in that swinging at that ball that's coming inside. It's a good at bat.
Well, Dominic's aboard. Here's Ben Francisco, who's walked twice today and scored 2 runs. Phillies with a run in the first, 1 in the second, 6 in the third. They lead at 8-1. That's the same kind of pitch he's been getting most of the day, and he's laid off it most of the day. That slider away.
Yeah. He can be aggressive here, but I mean, just look for your pitch. You know, he has a tendency, Ben Francisco, when he takes the pitch, he drops his hands down. You know, you want to keep your hand in that hitting position as if you're getting ready to hit it. You always anticipate a strike until it isn't.
To center field, Coughlin started back. Now the wind brings it in a few steps, and the side is retired. So no runs, no hits. 1 man left for the Phillies here in the 4th. We've completed 4. Dominic Brown of the Phils will go back to work in the field. Hey, online voting is open still for the 2011 All-Star Game in Phoenix. Help send your favorite Phils to this year's All-Star Game by voting up to 25 times. Placido Polanco leads at 3rd, but he's the only Philly that's leading at a specific position. So vote early, vote often, vote today at Phillies.com. You can also vote here at the ballpark as Brett Hayes leads off the 5th against Kyle Kendrick. And Kendrick delivers a strike. Hayes singled his first time up. I was taking a look at the leading vote getters, Sarge, and for the National League in particular. And in the outfield, Matt Holliday and Lance Berkman are both leading, along with, I think it's Ryan Braun from the Brewers. Pretty good selections by the fans so far.
I like both those guys. Berkman off to such a great start, and along with Holliday there.
1-2 the count to Hayes.
And I'm sure the way that Braun played and hit the ball, he probably got some votes here in Philadelphia. They're pretty knowledgeable fans. I mean, they like voting for their own players on their own team, and they'd like to see them, but they're realistic. I mean, if a guy's having a good year, he's having a good year.
Well, the guy that I wonder if he'll get the nod at first is Prince Fielder. 19 home runs and 59 RBIs for the Brewers, who have killed the ball at home as Hayes is down looking. And because of it, have found their way toward the top of the National League Central, tied with the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, he'll make that club, but being able to be a starter and voted in by the fans. I mean, Prince has come a long way just in terms of enduring the fans, but a good player, just a terrific athlete, even though he's a big guy.
Here's Brian Sanchez, who struck out his first, or excuse me, who's batting for the first time. Villanueva struck out his first time up. All right, what about Matt Kemp? Is he deserving?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, you look at the year that he's having and driving in runs, the home runs that he has, hitting for the average. More importantly, look at those stolen bases too that he has a high percentage.
He's fourth in the league in hits with 83, second in batting average, first in homers, second in RBIs. And as far as the stolen bases go, he has 16.
Yeah, I think for me that he's right up there. I think he should be voted in. He's playing center field. The other guys are playing on the corners. But a true center fielder, and obviously you know that he would make that club unless he just falters, but well deserving to be able to start. Matt Kemp with the Los Angeles Dodgers.
There's Chris Coghlan, who takes a strike, and it's no balls and one strike to Coghlan. Coghlan lined out to first his last time up, walked in the first. Up high. What about shortstop, Sarge?
I hate to say it, but I mean, Reyes is just, you know, when you're picking it and you're looking at it objectively, there's no doubt for me that Reyes is going to be there. I mean, he's a guy that literally can turn the game around. He's been playing inspired shortstop, if you will.
Yeah, he leads the league in hitting, leads the league in runs scored, leads in hits with 97 already, leads in multi-hit games. There's the 1-2 to Coghlan. Fouls it away, and it remains 1 ball, 2 strikes. In fact, you look at the other shortstops, you can always throw Troy Tulowitzki in there with 13 homers and 45 RBIs, but in reality, there's nobody else that's close over at short.
Yeah, and Tulowitzki really started off hot. I mean, it looked like he was going to have an MVP type year, and he's faltered quite a bit.
Coghlan takes high. It's 2-2. Well, and behind the plate, Brian McCann seems to be everybody's vote to start for the National League.
Best hitting catcher, definitely National League.
One hopper right to Chase Utley. And Chase, who's third currently in the voting, throws out Chris Coghlan, and the side is retired. A 1-2-3 inning for Kendrick. It's his second one of the day. He's done a nice job through 5 with the Phils up 7. All three, Reading, Lehigh Valley, Lakewood, are about an hour away, maybe a little bit more depending on traffic and the route you take. The Lakewood ballpark, which is down toward the shore, is a beautiful place. In fact, they just had Bryce Harper there. In fact, he's there one more day. As Valdez lines one into center, he has 2 hits. And he's aboard to lead off the 5th. So Sanchez allows his first hit. Here's Dane Sardina.
Oh, realizing too, Tom, Valdez hitting that ball could have had a grand slam inside the park home run. We were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, it was the perfect storm because both outfielders fell down. If the ball had rolled around a little bit more, he probably could have scored. And it led us to ask the question, as Morrison got his bell rung as he collided with Chris Coughlin on that 3-run triple. Led us to do some investigating with our crack stat guy, Carl Graber. How many inside the park grand slams there have been in baseball? Well, since 1950. I found this number very surprising, Sarge.
Wow.
40.
When I guessed that originally, I was thinking only maybe around 5, 6.
Yeah,
and I thought that might have been high.
I was in the same ballpark.
Honest Wagner having 5 himself, and obviously it kind of leads you to believe how large those ballparks were back in the day, where he hit that ball there in the gap and make it around the bases.
Well, a lot of the older ballparks too, as Kendrick had a dance out of the way of that foul ball, they had different obstacles out in the outfield. You know, the monuments out in the outfield in different places. But 5 inside the park grand slams, that's a lot.
Unbelievable.
The last one in the big leagues was Randy Wynn. There have been 8 since 1990, but Randy Wynn had the last one.
Yeah, and that would have been in 1999.
Got a piece. He stays alive. It remains 1-2. So what we're saying is that baseball's due to get another one.
Well, yeah. But you're right, though. I mean, when you look at the different sizes of the ballpark, all it has to do is hit a corner here or there, and fielders fall or have to run and chase it down. Above average runner can make it.
Sardina walked and scored in the 3rd, fly to left in the 2nd. 0 for 1. Fouls it back toward the Hall of Fame club. And a called strike 3. Sardina is down looking. 2nd strikeout for Sanchez. And what a way here in the 5th. What's Kendrick doing here, Sarge?
Well, I think he'd probably go on and bunt here. You know, again, we talked about that. Even though it has a big lead, pitchers want to hit. Pitching coaches want them on the bench resting and thinking about the hitter they're going to get out.
Kendrick, oh boy, Hayes nearly made an outstanding play. And it's 0-1.
Great effort. Pretty good position there, although you don't want to stab at that ball. You just want to make sure that that ball, you have that bat above the ball to be able to get it down on the ground.
That ball just popped out of the glove of Hayes. Kendrick takes low. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Now that's why a lot of times you'll see pitchers that they'll throw a high fastball trying to get that batter to make sure they pop that ball up. Hard to get on top of a high fastball to get it down on the ground.
That's a foul ball. Hayes jumped out quickly, but fielded it right next to the plate. I'm surprised Kendricks had so much difficulty getting the bunt down these last 2 at-bats.
Well, a lot has to do, again, with the pitch selection, but, you know, you're right. Not an overpowering pitcher. A little bit easier to bunt the ball. Let him go on and hit. Kyle doing a good job staying off the breaking ball. Tough pitch for anybody to hold up on.
And now it's inside. 3 balls and 2 strikes.
Heck, the way he's taking a ball like that, maybe he might want to send the runner. Easier to take chances when you have a lead like this.
You can do so many different things. Valdez goes, and a fly ball center field. And Coghlan makes the catch for the 2nd out.
That's awesome. Charlie not sitting back. Valdez on the move and does make contact.
Yeah, we've talked about this, Sarge. Sometimes there are the unwritten rules in baseball where when a team has a comfortable lead, you kind of pull off the throttle a little bit. I think the unwritten rules have been rewritten the last few years as offense has changed. Now, offense is down this year, they say. But I don't think any lead's really comfortable at this juncture of the game.
Couldn't agree with you more, although we've seen it. They won't swing 3-0. I always feel, though, if you get a chance to score that run, you got to score it, regardless if he has to slide or not. Not if he scores, you know, you're talking double figures, 14-1 or whatever. Now you're going to kind of back off maybe in the 7th, 8th inning or so, where you don't want to run your guys into, you know, a chance on getting hurt. But other than that, for me, up to that inning, you pour it on.
In the air to right field is Rollins, poured it on. Stanton's going back toward the wall, and he makes the catch right at the foot of the scoreboard. He just missed that one. A long fly ball out to the base of the wall. The Phillies leave 1. We go to the 6th. It's an 8-1 game. Is rolling along towards the middle of the season. Purely dominating his last 2 starts, Cliff Lee's arm has heated up right as the Phillies are heading into the summer months. Following his last start, he sat atop the strikeout leaders in the major leagues, and his ERA continues to drop. The left-hander's 4-game win streak at Citizens Bank Park has come at the right time, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Now more than ever, we're here for you every step of the way. Well, the Fanatic put together a summertime skit in between innings. On a very comfortable day, he decided to douse some fans. Pretty cool shirt he's got going there, Sarge.
Yeah, it sure is.
We start the 6th. Emilio Bonifacio leads it off, and he takes a strike. Bonifacio's 0 for 2. Bounced into a double play, fly to center. Boy, that was a good pitch. Right in on the hands. Bonifacio is retired by Utley. 1 away here in the 6th. Well, Kyle Kendricks retired the Marlins in order twice today. Every time the Phillies do that, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by the Xfinity HD Triple Play, your complete lineup for digital TV, lightning fast internet, and home phone. And there's the Xfinity couch. Folks are enjoying the day, watching the Phils lead the Marlins by 7.
Does look comfortable.
Surprised they don't have their feet up on the railing.
Still got to watch out when they Boy, that relaxed attitude with all these runs. Kyle's really making his pitches so far here today. Being able to get that change up, getting the hitters off balance.
Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike to count. Well, and you said it before, Sarge, the key is the ground balls for Kyle Kendrick.
While he's getting ground balls, it's a lot less damage than those line drives or fly balls. Want to make them hit to get on. No free passes, meaning walks.
Since Kendrick's range shortened outing on Thursday against the Cubs. And that was a very nice play. Down the right field line by the Phillies ball girl. She played that Karen perfectly.
Yeah. Yeah. Didn't come in too far, kind of just waited back. Get a chance to learn how that ball is going to bounce around here.
And a called strike 3 on the inside corner. 2 outs here in the 6th.
Boy, a lot of movement on that pitch. That's really a great pitch. Being able to have that ball come back on a left-hander, very difficult as he gives up on it. Take a look at the movement that he has on that pitch. Filthy.
Fly ball to left. Ben Francisco moves a couple steps to his left, makes the catch, and the side is retired. Well, since Kendrick's range shortened outing against the Cubs, the Phillies starters in every game since have gone at least 6 innings, including today. We don't just make SUVs, we make history. and by Southwest Airlines. Southwest Airlines new Rapid Rewards, unlimited reward seats and no blackout dates. Oh, bottom of the sixth, another sellout here at Citizens Bank Park, 44,758. Not counting the postseason last year. It's the 161st sellout in a row for the Phils. And well, tonight, game 2 will feature Roy Halladay against Anibal Sanchez. Sanchez said he wanted the ball against Roy Halladay, and he's going to get the ball against Roy Halladay.
Be careful what you ask for.
Victorino's 1 for 3, doubled and scored in the first. And a strike on the inside part of the plate. It's 0-1.
Sanchez might want that matchup, but the players, they're looking at it like, man, we need to go out and try and win this first game.
Fly ball, shallow left. Bonifacio, the shortstop, makes the catch.
When making the ball hang up, normally that ball is going to start to slice toward that left field line, but because of the wind, doesn't get a chance to do that.
A one away for Chase Utley. Sarge, Charlie mentioned before the ball game that he'd like to play Chase in game 2, like to play Rollins in game 2. But if the Phillies can get a comfortable lead, he'd like to get Chase out of game 1 to get him ready for game 2. When does that happen?
I was getting ready to ask you, how many more runs does he need? I mean, I think after this at bat, for me, I'd go in and give him a rest. Got to be able to hold a 7-run lead, and that way he can play the second game, and I think that'd be a good idea. Certainly no more than 7 if he goes out on the field and play the 7th inning to rest the 8th and the 9th, but nothing wrong right now in letting someone play defense out in second base, 7th, 8th, and 9th inning.
Well, the thought is that Utley will play game 2, that Rollins will play game 2, Polanco will be a third, Howard doesn't sit out, so the infield will be intact.
Yeah, and Charlie will go up and ask the guys how they feel. The veteran guys that are doing the job and he counts on, they'll get a chance to play no matter what, and it'd be up to them as long as they didn't have any type of little nagging injuries.
So Utley's retired. Sanchez has done a nice job. He's allowed just to hit now in 2+ innings. Chase will put his equipment away. We'll see what Charlie decides as Howard settles in. Boy, that's a bullet. It's going to go foul. But he's hitting a lot of things pretty hard right now.
Well, that ball inside, he turns on it. Again, long as Ryan Howard swinging at strikes. No, his problem is he goes through stretches where he starts to swing at a lot of balls in the dirt. And what happens when you do that, you start to lose your confidence some until you start swinging back at strikes.
Lays off, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike. That was the splitter from Sanchez. It's another one hard. Flag down on 1 hop by Infante, and he throws out Howard. That's the unluck of that shift for Ryan Howard.
Just not fair.
Well, he's grown to get used to it. He may not like it, but he's certainly used to it as we go to the 7th. Kyle Kendrick is working with an 8-1 lead as we start the top of the 7th. He's retired 7 consecutive hitters as Mike Stanton leads it off and waves at the first pitch. It's no balls and 1 strike.
He's really done his job too, Tom. He's just thrown strikes here this afternoon. Big lead, let him hit it. Trust your defense, keep the ball in the ballpark and move it along.
Well, he's only at 71 pitches as we watch that second ball go by Mike Stanton.
Well, he's not a strikeout pitcher. You know, he's a contact guy, and you know they're hitting the ball and Phillies are getting outs, and they really haven't hit it all that hard off him today.
Except for the Morrison home run, that's basically been it.
Yeah, and then he changed with Morrison, got him out with a changeup second time, got him out with a cutter the third time. He's done a really good job here this afternoon, especially in this game where you want to stay away from your bullpen if you can. And he's pitched into the 7th inning. Just a terrific job.
Back toward the box. This will be the 11th ground out of the game for Kendrick.
Yeah, another week out.
Sounded like he may have even broken his bat.
Time now for the Verizon Wireless game summary. Phillies, you see Logan Morrison's home run that Tom just mentioned. Eli Villanueva's first major league start didn't go so hot. He really didn't have good command. Now Wilson Valdez, a big 3-run triple, and Kyle Kendrick very, very solid here today. And the Phillies scoring 2 out runs this afternoon, which have really helped their cause.
And some more extra base hits. Came into this ball game with 24 extra base hits on this homestand. And they haven't let up the throttle here today. Dobbs is 0 for 2. He reached on an error by Dominic Brown his last time.
This ball gives Brown trouble sometimes. It's like he's not quite sure what to do with his glove, whether to turn it up or down. You know, people have worked with him on that. A lot of that's instinct, and hopefully it'll come for him.
He's constantly working with Juan Samuel here at the ballpark.
Yeah.
Semi works with all of them, but primarily with Dominic Brown. Inside, 2 balls, 1 strike.
Well, that's pretty good for Kyle Kendrick, to say the least. And he's into the 7th inning, pitching more than 6.
Line drive base hit to left for Dobbs. So he's aboard. That ends a string of 8 in a row retired by Kyle Kendrick. It's the first hit for the Marlins since the 2nd. Well, these lucky fans are today's Citizens 7. They will each receive a prize pack. Compliments of Citizens Bank. Citizens Bank with the most 7-day branches in the Philadelphia area. To find a branch near you, visit citizensbank.com. Here's Infante, who's 0 for 2.
Nobody up the Phillies bullpen in the 7th inning. Really good sign, and hopefully Kyle can get him through at least one more here.
One ball and 1 strike to count to Infante. Phillies have the 2nd most wins at home this year in the National League. Or I should say are tied now with the Milwaukee Brewers. Brewers are 25-9 at home this year.
You see the starters 20-7 for the Phillies. The Brewers have really picked up their program. And, you know, you look at the end of the season for the Phillies, 20 of their last 30 games are on the road, and 4 of them are in Milwaukee. So many home games as you can win right now when you have a chance, pile them up.
Opposite way, another base hit. This one not hit that hard. Dobbs will stop at second. And the Marlins have first and second with 1 out.
I like get Rich Doobie headed for the phone.
Yep, Mick Billmeyer's making some moves out there. Rich Doobie talking to Charlie Manuel. Look at it. Look at it.
He knows it's coming.
He knows it's coming.
Yeah. he and Doobs are joined at the hip. It's going to ring. I know it. There it is. It rang. He could see him probably start to walk. And here comes Here comes Rich Doobie out right now to just stall a little bit. You know, whether they're going to get up, give him a little bit of time to throw. You know, Kyle could be starting to run out of gas a little bit. He hasn't gone this far in a long time.
It's funny, though. Bill Meyer, Mick just standing next to the phone. Doobie's not even near it at that point.
Yeah, he knew it was that time. You know, the guy like Mick Billmeyer had been out there so long as J.C. Romero gets up. You know, you have instincts. It's like when they always say there's a quarterback, there's a clock running on how much time you have, though somebody's going to bury you. Well, his clock was running out there. Like, it's about time we better get somebody up, I think.
Hey, if you're 30 years old or older, here's your chance of a lifetime. It's Phillies Fantasy Camp from the 18th to the 22nd of January 2012 in Clearwater, Florida. Sarge even said the other day, you know, I might be able to fit that into my schedule this year.
What an honor for everybody showing up if Sarge were to be there.
Package includes hotel accommodations, practice with guys like Greg Luzinski, Jim Eisenreich, Mickey Morandini, and the commish, Larry Anderson. Fantasy game versus the Legends at the Bright House Networks Field. Call now 610-520-3400.
Sarge were to show up, fans would get a chance up close and personal to see why we enjoy him so much.
Brett Hayes stands in. Swing and a miss and a slider. And it's 0-1. Or I should say the cutter from Kendrick. Hayes singled back in the second. Struck out looking in the fifth. The cutter had some wicked movement on it.
That was a good one.
Over the head of Wes Helms and into the seats.
Yeah, he's one of the three potential moves they have.
Yeah, we're told that Javier Vasquez will be used as a pinch hitter if needed for the Marlins, since they only have 3 bench players, and one of those bench players is John Buck, their backup catcher.
Right, that's why they let Sanchez hit early in the game so that Brian could pitch some more innings, and he did a good job for them.
The 0-2 to Hayes. Got him. He went after a high pitch, another cutter. And that's the 5th strikeout for Kendrick. 2 outs. And Helms will bat.
Third ex-Philly to come into this ball game. And Sanchez, Helms, and Dobbs. There it is, a high cutter way out of the strike zone, but he chased it. That really helped Kyle, because you have to figure he doesn't have that many bullets left.
Helms not having that great a year with 16 hits. It's 72 at bats. And he takes for a strike. It's 0-1. Turned his shoulder away from that cutter from Kendrick, and it dropped right into the strike zone.
Thrown a lot of cutters in the last 2 hitters.
This will be the 88th pitch of the day for Kendrick. Grounder left side. Rollins picks it up. Long throw across the diamond in time to get Helms, and the side is retired. For Kyle Kendrick, it's the first time since July 24th, 2010. He's got at least 7 innings, and he leads it 8-1. Quiz answer. Wheels, can you name the Marlin that the Phillies received in exchange for Darren Dalton in '97?
I think I can.
You think you can? All right,
hitter,
all right, little train that could. Let's hear what it is.
Billy McMillan.
Billy McMillan is correct. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. Thanks for playing Dodge Stump the Fans. I think Billy McMillan is a minor league coach or manager somewhere right now.
Is he?
He was a big-time prospect in the Marlins organization, along with Edgar Renteria. He came up with a couple other guys that were part of what the Marlins thought were going to be their foundation for a long time.
Yeah, he was here for a little while. Nothing much happened. A left-handed hitter with he didn't have much power. And, he was kind of an extra guy is what he was.
Yep. Wes Helms in the game at first base for the Marlins. So Gabby Sanchez will have the rest of the day off. And Edward Mojica is the new pitcher for Florida, facing Dominic Brown, who took him out of the yard last night.
You have to figure no matter what, Kyle Kendricks finished for the afternoon and did a really, really good job. Gave up that quick run on the home run to Logan Morrison in the first inning. As you look at Mojica's numbers, Tom said he was in the game last night. And then he just threw strikes. They got him a nice lead, and he got quick outs, moved the game along, really did his job.
Brown, a fly ball to left, slicing toward the line. Logan Morrison makes the one-handed catch for the first out here in the seventh. So Dominic 0 for 3 today with a walk. And here's Ben Francisco. Kind of get the feeling that with all the pitchers the Marlins have available in their pen, that maybe somebody's not available, because yesterday it took them a long time to get anybody up behind Chris Volstad as Bonifacio bobbles, but still throws out Francisco. And here's Mojica for the second straight day in an 8-1 game in the game for Florida.
Yeah, if you want to give somebody some work, you figure this is a spot for it, just to get them up for an inning. They have their best pitcher going in the second game, so they're not looking at a situation where they think they're not going to have a starter go deep into the game or guarding against that. Because Anibal Sanchez has been tremendous this year for them.
Here's Valdez. He's had himself a good day. A 3-run triple back in the third. He singled his last time up, and he takes a strike.
And putting Josh Johnson on the 60 day, you talk about their best pitcher. Obviously, he is when he's healthy and in their rotation, but he's had a lot of injuries.
Well, and they said that they didn't anticipate him being back till July, so he's been on the DL for a few weeks. So they figured by the time he gets his long tossing going and the rest of his throwing program, that Edwin Rodriguez and the rest of the Marlins could use the roster spot.
Right, isn't that flexibility on their roster put him on the 60 day?
And that's the key, is that you get 40 spots, but if you do place somebody on the 60-day disabled list, not the 15, then that 40-man, there's a 40-man spot that opens up for that time being.
Right.
On the hands, and that's going to get between Dobbs and Infante, and Infante makes a nice play, but Valdez is safe at first. Talk about being safe and secure.
Well, he went sliding in there, I think, for 2 reasons. One, to try and be safe, and one, to avoid a collision, and they had it anyway. A little banged up as Wilson Valdez. Well, he could seem like he came out of it all right, although they're going to check him out on the mound right now. Here it is. Just gets jammed, shoots it into right field. And now he goes, that's what I'm saying. I think he's trying to be safe and also avoid a head-on collision with a pitcher, because Wilson has to see that he's getting there at the same time as that guy.
And the angle was that Mojica was coming right across the bag.
And he's right in the middle of the bag, right, and they're going to slam into each other, so he slid. And
Fanatic had a perfect view of what was going on. The Fanatic and the Fanatic. Well, there are little fanatics all over the ball.
Yeah, that's what was it, dress up like a fanatic day?
Marlins athletic trainers out to check out Edward Mojica.
By the way, I'd like to correct something I said earlier, that I talked about Canadian geese. Well, they are called Canada geese. They are not natives of Canada necessarily. So someone corrected. You know, there's always somebody that knows stuff that you don't know, and you appreciate learning anything.
You know, in all honesty, I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either.
No.
So, you know, Tom, you can learn something every day if you want to. And just learn something, and then also that Edward Mojica's finished for the day.
Yep. Sean Cunningham, the athletic trainer for the Marlins, will escort Mojica out of the game along with Randy St. Clair. So we have a pitching change. It's an AT&T call to the bullpen here at Citizens Bank Park. A runner at first, 2 outs here at the bottom of the 7th. And a pitching change for the Marlins. Edward Mojica was nicked up on a play over at first between he and Wilson Valdez. And Burke Badenhop will be the new pitcher for the Marlins. 18th ball game for Badenhop. He has a 3.50 earned run average. So he's on here in the bottom of the 7th. And he'll face Dane Sardina. Then the pitcher spot. Michael Martinez is out in the on deck circle next to Dane Sardina. Hey, tonight on Sports Night, get a full recap of what Kyle Kendrick did this afternoon, plus a preview of Roy Halladay's start tonight against the Marlins, and the Sixers workout local product Markieff Morris in anticipation of next week's NBA draft. Get all the news Philly fans need to know on Sports Night tonight at 6. Only on Comcast Sportsnet. Speaking of Kendrick, the wheels, he was pretty sound today.
He was really sound. Tommy, a leadoff walk, and they got a double play right there. That had to help him because the next batter, Logan Morrison, hit a home run. And then after that, he just started to mow these guys down. Look at all the strikes he threw. Really used his changeup well. There was one to use his cutter. There's a cutter right there that Stanton hits off the end of the bat. He used 3 pitches very effectively today. A sinker. There's another breaking ball, a high one that Hayes chased. Breaking ball is cutter, his changeup and fastball, and threw the ball over the plate with a lead, and that's what you want your guy to do.
Yeah, sometimes you want your guy to do that. He doesn't always do that. Kyle certainly did that this afternoon.
Very good job.
Charlie Manuel, he probably hasn't had to use a whole lot of gum today. Burke Badenhop's getting as long as he needs to loosen up with the injury to Edward Mojica. By the way, if the Phillies can hang on and win this game, you know, they gain a half game on the Braves. The Braves play the Mets again later on. Dylan G, who's pitched very well for the Mets, will get the start against Tim Hudson. But it also pushes the Marlins back even farther in the National League East. I don't think anybody saw that coming.
Nobody saw that coming. I agree with you, Tom. I mean, they looked like they were going to be really good. Of course, Josh Johnson went down. That's had a little bit of a domino effect on their rotation. Some guys have maybe not hit as much as they had hoped they would. They haven't caught the ball as well. And as a result, they've lost a lot of tough games. And they say they ran into some hot teams. Atlanta got hot, Milwaukee got hot, and Arizona's a hot team. They ran into them at the wrong time, and that can happen in the course of a season.
Well, it also, I think, gives you pause to take a step back if you're a Phillies fan. Phillies have had a lot of injuries this year, and a lot of their guys have stepped it up. I mean, you look at the standings right there. Phillies are 3.5 ahead of Atlanta. The Mets are at third, a game under 500. And there are the Marlins, who are sitting at 8.5 back.
Can't say enough in this business, though, if you pitch and catch the ball. And
Absolutely.
The Phillies have done that well. We all want to talk about offense. We all love offense. But pitching and defense win. Defense wins for you in any sport. And this sport is no different.
Wheels, I'm trying to get my weatherman. There we go. There we go. Atlanta 3.5 out. Mets 8 out.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was very good. You ever do any TV weather?
I have never done it.
No. Well, you could do it.
Get that big green screen behind me.
That would be different.
Call for renegade storms popping up everywhere.
Just don't wear a green shirt or you'll disappear. Whitey used to do that. We used to have a green background for our chroma key, it's called. The camera takes a shot, and then they put something else in the background. So Whitey would insist on wearing a green tie. And of course, his middle of his body would disappear.
He'd be the invisible man.
Or you'd have the Veterans Stadium crowd would be in the background. And Charlie was one of the cameramen when it would happen. He'll tell you, and Whitey would say, well, Charlie, isn't this a nice tie? And Charlie'd say, yeah, Richie, but you can't wear that with that green background. He would still wear it.
Charlie O'Gara, who does our camera up here in the TV booth. Boy, they didn't listen to him back then either, huh?
No.
Swing and a miss, and Sardina's down on strikes, and the side is retired. So no runs, 1 hit, 1 man left for the Phillies. We've completed 7. On to the 8th. The Phillies up 8-1. Dodge.com or your local dealer today and buy Xfinity only from Comcast, the official HD triple play provider of the Phillies. Well, it's turned out to be a beautiful day here at the park. It's been a very comfortable day for the Phillies. As they lead at 8-1, we go to the top of the 8th. Michael Martinez, and we anticipated this would happen. Michael Martinez is in the ballgame to play second. So Chase Utley take the rest of this game off. J.C. Romero into the ballgame for the Phillies. 24th game for J.C.
This is what Charlie was talking about before the game, that he really hoped that they could get into a situation where he could get Utley out of the game the way that he did last night. So he wanted to play him in the second game. I think he's going to play him anyway. But it worked out that way, and he gets a few innings off and then play the second game.
So J.C. Romero, a 4.11 earned run average. He'll take over for Kendrick, who went 7 innings, 7 strong today. 5 hits, 1 run. 1 walk and 5 strikeouts. This is a good spot for J.C. Romero to try to figure some things out, too. Throw some strikes against the top of the Marlins order. Not sure how long he'll be in the game. I guess it all depends on how successful he is, because Danny Baez is up and throwing out in the Phillies bullpen. Here's Coghlan to lead it off.
Well, they don't want to take any chances that something goes wrong in this game. You know, it wasn't that long ago, it was 7-0 in a game that Roy Halladay started. Next thing you knew, it was 7-5, and the tie-and run was at the plate. Still have to get 6 outs.
88 pitches for Kyle Kendrick, and 58 of those pitches were strikes.
Just did a fine job today.
in the dirt, and it's 2 balls and 1 strike to Chris Coghlan. See the numbers on Kendrick. The 1 run, a home run by Logan Morrison in the first. Michael Martinez getting a chance on that short hop, and he throws out Chris Coghlan for out number 1.
One of the reasons you can see why Coughlin's struggling right there, because he basically got himself out there.
Hey, the Fanatic MVP Club. Are you the most valuable Fanatic in 14 and under? Well, join the Fanatic MVP Club and receive Fanatic poster, an MVP lanyard, and a Fanatic bobblehead. Registration fee is $12. For information, go to thephillies.com/MVP Club. A couple of those folks that are dressed up as the Fanatic today look like they're 12 or under. They'd be perfect participants for the Fanatic Club. 2 outs here in the 8th. Here's Logan Morrison, who's 1 for 3. Change up for strike 1. It's 0-1 to Morrison. Little topper up the first base line. It stays fair, and Romero does a good job of cutting it off right near the line. And a very quick 8th inning for him. 1, 2, 3 go the Marlins. We've now played 7.5, with the Phillies up by 7. Murphy after the game for Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies post-game live. That's right, they'll give a complete recap of what happened here today. Great outing by Kyle Kendrick. Plus the Phillies offense is starting to churn it out. Again, it's Phillies post-game live coming up right after the ball game. And then a quick turnaround. Game 2 will be at 7:05 tonight. All the folks that are here will leave. They'll clean up the park. And some of the same folks plus others will come on back in.
It's an amazing thing to watch too. A great job they do cleaning the place up.
Michael Martinez leads off the 8th with a base hit the opposite way against Burke Badenhot. First at bat of the day from Martinez. And here comes Jimmy Rollins. Well, a handful of games does not make a resurgence. But Rollins' swings have looked a whole lot better the last couple of days.
Timing is really good. Tom, he's right on the ball.
That's a fair ball, knocked down by Helms. Martinez goes up to second. And there's one away. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, they are underway in Los Angeles, where the Dodgers lead the Reds 1-0. Double and a run scored for Andre Ethier.
They've been playing some close games out there. They had another one last night, ended 3-2.
Reds are trying to pull off a sweep for the first time since 2004.
Mujica hurt his right wrist. That's why he had to leave the game on that tumble at first base.
He's day to day, so I guess that means he's not available for the second game. They have some decisions to make between this game and the second one, because they have some players that are hanging around the area that they might put on the roster. So you never know. We may have seen the first and last of Eli Villanueva.
Yeah, he could be one of those guys they brought up for a spot start. And, he got some major league experience. He didn't have a real good game today, but at least he pitched in a major league game, gets a little feel for what it takes to compete up here. Not the easiest place to pitch your first major league game in this ballpark against this team.
Yeah, New Orleans, Memphis, all those places he pitched in the Pacific Coast League. The teams weren't like this, and the crowds certainly weren't like this.
Right.
Victorino to center. Coghlan makes the catch. And there are 2 outs. Martinez broke back to tag, but then stopped. And Ross Gload will pinch hit for J.C. Romero. There's Danny Baez. Danny Baez was taking some batting practice yesterday with the starting pitchers. It was noticeable, and it led to the topic that, well, is he going to start Saturday in Seattle? And Charlie Manuel just smiled. And he still hasn't put a stamp on Vance Worley starting, but he kind of made it seem like Worley will start Saturday.
Yeah, it did. They just want to get through what they're in right now and just see where they are. That's all. It's always good to look ahead, but sometimes it's too early to look ahead, and that's the case with that right
now. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Gload this year is hitting .275. He has 11 hits and 40 at bats. That's just foul. Well, look ahead on the Toyota Major League scoreboard for later on tonight. Dylan G 7-0 for the Mets. We talked about that before. And Tim Hudson for the Braves. Mets won yesterday. They're within a game of 500, even with all the issues they've had.
Pittsburgh Pirates are at 500.
They were at 30-30, I think, back in 05 or 04, right around that time. But other than that, they haven't been close at this point in the season. Oh, nice play by Emily, the Phillies ball girl, down the left field line. She had to recover.
Almost overran it. Did a nice job.
Down low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes. And a called strike 3. That came back. Gload is rung up, and the side is retired. No runs ahead. One man left in scoring position. Danny Baez is ready to go. So are we as we head to the ninth with Phil's up 8-1. Phillies so far 5-2 coming into these set of games against the Florida Marlins, and now they've won game 1. They are leading at 8-1 here at game 2 as we go to the top of the ninth. And Danny Baez will take over to pitch the ninth. 4.11 earned run average for Baez. Now you think about this, Wheels. The Phillies have not put together the best record in the National League in the month of June or National League East, but they still are gaining games on everybody in the division.
And for them, the month of June they're having is pretty good because a long way to go in this one, but June has not been kind to them the last few years.
Well, build up some equity because the American League is right around the corner, and that's where the Phillies usually have their problems.
Struggle.
Although they were 10-8 last year. John Buck will lead it off against Danny Baez here in the ninth. Buck is batting for the pitcher. And a strike at the knees to Buck. He's the starting catcher for the Marlins, hitting .230 with 7 homers and 24 runs batted in. No balls and 2 strikes. And a called strike 3. Came in with a curve. One away here in the ninth. Well, if it's close, Ron Culp wants you to swing at it.
Now we talked about Canadian and Canada geese. You learned something. Well, here's about chroma key right there. There's the green background with Chase Utley, and then you change it to put the crown in the background, kind of like you were talking with weather, with the weather maps.
Mike Stanton hits a towering fly ball to center. They'll stay in the yard.
So
2 outs.
You can imagine that if Chase Utley had a green tie on down the front of his shirt, it would have the crowd in the background. Well, that's what Whitey used to do.
That's funny.
Oh, it is.
Oh. And then Charlie O'Gara was telling us that he used to have the green pants too.
Oh yeah, well, he had all these different type pants. Some of them had, they had pelicans on them or flamingos and all. Tell everybody how good that stuff was. Now there's a chroma key right there.
Yeah.
Now see, that wouldn't be good on that green background.
Or the green golf shirts that we wear from time to time.
Oh, not good.
Here's Dobbs with 2 outs. And Dobbs takes a strike. It's 0-1. Man, everybody's throwing strikes today.
Yeah, well, the Marlins got down early in this game, and it's tough. It's tough when you do that. When you're struggling the way they are, and they know they have a good pitcher in the second game, and they know that they're going to face a good pitcher, and that should be a heck of a game.
Outside and low, 1 ball and 1 strike. Again, coming up at 7:05. The first pitch will be on the air at 7 p.m. It'll be Roy Halladay looking for his National League leading 10th victory. And he'll be opposed by Anibal Sanchez. Henley Ramirez is scheduled to play in game 2. He's scheduled to sit out tomorrow's finale to the series. They do not want to play him day games after night games. A couple of the fans in the background, a young lady in the second row, did not like that call by Ron Culper.
They're still into this game. Like, where was that one? She said.
Another base hit for Dobbs the other way.
Well, we saw him do a lot of that when he was swinging the bat well with the Phillies. He would hit the ball the other way.
No, he's 2 for 4. So he has 2 of the 6 hits for Florida. Phillies with 8 runs on 8 hits in this afternoon's game. Last night they had 9 runs on 11 hits. Swing and a miss. It's 0-1 to Infante. 1 out to get for Danny Baez. Check swing, slow roller. Martinez there, throws to first, and the Phillies for the second time this year have won 5 consecutive ball games as they win it today 8-1 behind some impressive pitching from Kyle Kendrick and also this resurgent offense led by the top of the order Jimmy Rollins, who blasted a 3-run home run, and Wilson Valdez, a 3-run triple. All around, this was a fabulous way to get this day-night doubleheader started. So the Phillies have taken the first 2 games in this series against the Florida Marlins, and the standings of the National League East as we get set for some night baseball. 4 games over the Braves, 8.5 over the Mets, 9.5 over the Florida Marlins. If you look around Major League Baseball, folks, the Phillies have the largest lead of anybody in the majors as we get set for the nightcap of this day-night doubleheader. So the Phillies got 7 strong from Kyle Kendrick, and then the bullpen shut down the Florida Marlins. But all this was not possible without the offense today.
WB Mason deliveries of the game. 2 big hits, a 3-run triple right here by Wilson Valdez. Outfielders colliding on that as the ball went to the wall, and 3 runs scored. And then a couple hitters later, Jimmy Rollins came up with 2 men on base, and bam, another 3-run home run for the Phillies. 6 runs on 2 hits. A big time crooked number goes up in the 3rd inning, and the Phillies coast to a nice little 8-1 win, Tommy. And those are our WB Mason deliveries of the game.
Well, J-Roll's got his swagger back. He's been hitting the ball quite well over the last few days, and he's down on the field. Well, he's dancing around with Sarge. Sarge, take it away.
Hey, guys, thanks a lot there. Big hit, 3-run home run there. A little icing on the cake.
Definitely. Wilson had a good at bat before that. He's been, tremendous with runners on. It's day and night. Runners, base is empty. You can't, sniff ahead, but you get that guy on base, and he finds a way to put the ball, in outfield grass. And, I came up and, got a pitch out over the plate, put a good swing on it. Wasn't sure if I got it. It was a little bit off the end of the bat, but, a good path and a short, quick swing. That was a good result.
How about there on the swing there when you hit that ball out of the ballpark, second day in a row that you've done that? You think your stroke is maybe back to where you want it to be?
It's getting close. It still isn't there. I'm not all the way comfortable where I could just sit in the box and be like, oh, yeah, I got you today. I'm looking for certain pitches, and I've been able to not miss them. But, you know, I'm still in the cage, working in between at bats, just trying to get comfortable with my body position. You know, once your hands get to where they need to be and you know where your swing is, you don't worry about anything else.
Yeah, I know a lot of times, too, you hit with your legs. How are your legs feeling?
My leg is feeling a lot better. You know, I'm not in a stolen base condition yet, you know, with the ball off the knee. But, you know, they're underneath me, and it doesn't bother me, you know, to hit left-handed at least. I haven't had many at-bats right-handed yet, but it's just feeling better. It's getting better each day.
You playing the second game?
You know, I haven't talked to Charlie yet, but knowing Charlie, I'll be in there playing, and, you know, maybe tomorrow off. But you never know with Charlie.
Thanks for coming on. Tom Wills?
All right, Sarge, thank you very much. Our thanks to Jimmy Rollins. The crowd goes home.